your radio's gonna hear it. Even if you are not selected on that talk group on your radio. And let's see. So on your transmit criteria, always set it for color code or always. That way your radio will always make sure it will get in. Channel 3, it may pick the wrong time slot when trying to activate the talk groups. And so when you create your code plug, a separate channel will need to be created for every talk group desired. You also will set up different zones. So say if I want to have a zone specifically for Sheffield repeater and one for the Huntsville repeater, it'll be easier to make two zones, and then you will have to make a channel for each talk group that you want in each zone for both repeaters. And this, what I was saying here, this is where you can, in the zone, you assign your favorite channels to channel bank. They can be grouped by repeater, location, activity, analog repeater, simplex. You can mix and match it. You can do whatever you want to. The choice is yours, but you know, I can show you a little bit about how I've got mine set up. First and foremost, never forget that this is a hobby. Individuals have invested many hours in support of this network. And in speaking on John Mackler's behalf, I hope this was able to answer some of your introductory questions. And don't expect to master this in a few days. It's took me several weeks to be able to understand part of it. And this presentation that John Mickler was allowed me to use is just touching the tip of the iceberg. And does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, you said all the statewide, nationwide talk groups or international talk groups are all have an internet backbone.
Yes.
You also talked about the local repeater here,
Mm-hmm.
and the local talk group. Now, do all local talk groups operate directly to the repeater with no internet backbone at all?
Yes. So if we're using just our local number 2 on time slot 2, if our internet fails, we still have access to the repeater. It'll work just like a standard repeater.
So the hotspot in that case is useless for
It's-
local talk group.
Yes. But say the Northwest Alabama talk group, which is an area-wide talk group, it can be linked to from a hotspot or the repeater. It's connected to the network.
If you want to get into the basics first, just play with it a little bit, you can just go computer to computer, right? Talk across.
No, you have to have a radio to access. I've tried to. Now you can listen to it from a computer, but you can't connect to it to transmit it.
Can one person talk to another person via computer or over the radio? One have a radio, one have a computer?
No. If
What am I getting us confused with?
Echo link.
Echo Link.
Okay.
You can listen with a computer off of the internet, but you can't transmit.
What's that other system besides Echo Link they had in Huntsville?
D-Star?
RLP.
RLP, yeah.
You could do that, you could go from console to console on that.
Now, did Motorola's system, did it progress like from DES to DMR? Or you know anything about DES?
I do not.
They started out with a system for encryption back in the 80s.
Yeah, and I think that was part of it, and I think once they come out with the turbo equipment, that's pretty much.
Are you familiar with Moto Turbo? That's basically kind of what this is, because that's what we're using is a Moto Turbo repeater.
Yeah, DMR is basically just Moto Turbo.
There weren't a lot of DES back in the 80s.
Yeah.
But don't know.
I think that was some kind of digitally encrypted system or something, wasn't it?
Since they started out with encryption on analog,
Mhm.
and progressed to digital encryption, digital.
This way this is, it's operates on TDMA, it's time division multiple access. And it's actually, the way that the voice is digitized is AFSK, phase shift keying.
Now, you
Like
It
can,
just has a lot of kin to cell phone now.
Mm-hmm.
and you can go radio on simplex also. We experimented with that one day. Went up on LaGrange Mountain, and he was able to talk to Gary all over at his place, like 15 miles apart
I remember y'all talking about that.
from DMR simplex.
And
Handy talkie.
when we actually went over to analog simplex, it was not even hardly usable.
Yeah, I know based on what I did back in the early days, it was about 25% more range.
That's what he told me is you get about 25 to 45% better range out of the digital system than you would an analog.
Of course, we went just straight to digital as opposed to digital encryption. It cut you back to that. Even your audio had your audio just right.
Any more questions?
Patrick, if I wanted to get involved in this, what's kind of the minimum radio I'd wanna buy? If there's any, I see these things blinking lights on it. I mean, I have a fairly recent laptop computer if I have to have that, but.
The cheapest way for a hotspot, as I would recommend this, that I passed around earlier, the jumbo spot. It's basically just an MMDVM board that's attached to a little Raspberry Pi Zero. I think minus the case that I bought, I think I was about $80.
Or do you need a hotspot before you get a radio?
Actually, you would probably need a radio before you got a hotspot. That way you could go ahead and program it, play with it.
On the radio, the Anytones we got were what, like $179. But they have come out with some people say it's Radio Diddity, some says Radio Oddity. It's a GD77. That's about $89. Lead them right on there.
Is that
94.
That's one Tim's got?
Yeah.
It's about 94 right now.
There is a RD5R.
That's made by Bell thing.
They're running about 70, but I caught mine on sale one weekend for $59. So if you shop around, you can get some decent buys